Hi, my name is David Barter. I am the practice manager here at GreenPages Technology Solutions for the Microsoft practice, and we are talking today about issues and operational considerations around an Office 365 migration. This is a three-part series, and this is part two of that series. Today what we're talking about is the use of third-party utilities, DNS, and then other management tools. And oftentimes we have built a career over being able to manage our Exchange environments with third-party tool sets that are out there today, whether it be any sort of SCCM SCOM, whether it be some sort of application set that's there to both manage the infrastructure as well as change management inside of the infrastructure. A lot of times folks use products from Dell like Change Auditor to know what's going on inside of their environment, especially if you're in large environments and you have multiple people touching things every day. You want some sort of tracking log. If you have a compliance issue and you need to track those things for compliance issues, one of the things that is still new to the market, if really small at this point, is the ability to have that change auditing type environment with Office 365. So when you start looking at that as something you're doing today, and what are my people going to use going forward to be able to meet those same guidelines that you've said to an auditor, hey, we've got this in place. We're doing this every day. Here's our records. The migration to Office 365 breaks that. And largely because you no longer have control over the back end. You can't look at the database. You're not seeing the mail flow traffic like you would think you would. You really do struggle to be able to collect that data and report on that data and then look and see who's changed. Now, if you're coupling it with Active Directory, obviously any work you're doing in Active Directory, if you've got a change auditor platform, works, right? That stuff still works because your Active Directory is on-prem. You're doing some sort of ADFS or DIR sync to the cloud or maybe even Azure AD. But still, that's all originating from your Active Directory. But the management in which we're used to today, which is managing the Exchange environment from the Exchange toolset, from the Exchange Manager toolset, that's very different. That doesn't exist anymore. So you may want to consider a hybrid solution where you have Office 365 as the mail piece and you leave what we call a management server, or what I call the traffic cop, of an Exchange server on-prem that is literally there just to be the admin tool. It doesn't traffic mail, it doesn't do anything like that. It also rolls into our next topic, which is DNS, and understanding that DNS is the killer of everything in the network world. If you spend any time doing any sort of network work or any sort of infrastructure work in your environment, oftentimes, we all learn the OSI model, oftentimes it comes back to either being DNS or literally physical layer, someone unplugged a cable. DNS is also one of those things that it can be an Active Directory DNS, it can be a bind DNS, and making sure that what your DNS internal, your DNS is communicating with Azure, and your external DNS, your MX record, A records, pointer records, all of that stuff is accurate and there. Office 365 requires a little more information in your externally hosted DNS provider than what you're normally used to with your on-prem Exchange environment. So that's something to take into account, to consider, to make sure that your provider for your external DNS solution can support that. There's lots of mainstream ones out there, Network Solutions being one of them. But at the end of the day, those little ones that are run by this ISP, that's this mom and pop shop, may not have the capability to provide you with all of the record types you need to be able to manage and maintain your Office 365 environment and make sure you don't run into these issues. And then I think lastly, we really talk about third-party utilities that we use. Backup for Exchange is a big one. How do I do that? What do I do that? Today, we're just starting to see, early in the market, folks coming out with an ability to extract data out of Office 365 and turn it into a backup. So the days of using Veritas Backup Exec or Veeam or one of the other many net backup solutions that are out there to back that up go away when you go to an Office 365 environment, because the data is now Microsoft's responsibility to back up, and they have an SLA for that, and that's all well and good. But there is still some requirement, especially in high compliance areas, where you may need that data back. And you may feel the need, moreover, that you need to have control of that data in a backup should you need to recover it. So right now, there aren't a lot of utilities out there that do it. There are a couple that have come to market in the last couple of months, but it's still very young yet, very early. Gartner hasn't even weighed in on these applications as whether they're viable Office 365 tools or not. But understand that a lot of those third-party management utilities that you're used to become irrelevant in the Office 365 world, especially if they're Exchange-driven. And then the last thing to understand with all of this is applications that tie in that third-party hook. we start talking about third-party utilities, we also start to talk about third-party utilities like Cisco's Unity Express. Does it actually allow you to do voicemail to email with Office 365? And it absolutely does. There's hooks there, but you'll want to make sure that when you're looking at your voice over IP solution or your unified communication solution that oftentimes leverages that it is supported by Office 365, and Office 365 supports it. So it's a good chance for you to talk to your vendors, talk to GreenPages, make sure that you have the latest information before you make a decision to move forward. So that's what I have for part 2. Appreciate all your time today. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, want to have contact with myself or any of the reps at GreenPages, don't hesitate to reach out. Go to our website. You'll find our contact information there, and you'll find my contact information at the end of this blog. Thank you very much. Have a great day.